Okay, folks, a straight 15 ball, and we can make sure anyone recording on mobile phone can have a flight mode. Okay.
Joe, could you sum up your assessment of that performance?
Yeah, it's a performance that I suppose I've got a fair bit of admiration for the players. I think they really had to roll their sleeves up. The conditions were really tough, even early in the game when there wasn't as much drizzle. It was still wet, it was still slippery, hard to get your feet on the ground, hard to control the ball, and I think we did a pretty good job of it. Unfortunately, we let that slip a few times and fell behind on the scoreboard, but I was really impressed with the way that the players knuckled down, worked their way back into the game, got the try that we needed to give ourselves the confidence that we could continue to build and keep the pressure on, and I think that's what the players did.
Was Rock Carney injured enough?
His foot slipped away on him, just on the slippery surface. I've got to say that the surface was as good as you could possibly make it, but inevitably with the moisture on top, so he was a little bit uncomfortable in the adductor, and so we'll see how that is over the next probably 24, 48 hours, and if it continues to niggle away, then we'll get him scanned. But I don't think there was anything other than that.
Can you update us on any other injuries, Joe, please?
No, Brendan, I don't think there was anything else. The other guys were tactical replacements, really. Guys were pretty fatigued out there, and I think that was both sides that were pretty fatigued. There were times where it was a little bit attritional, and then suddenly it would break out into this frenzied kind of counter-attack or lateral game that had everyone gasping at times, and the ball was in play for quite long periods at times.
Rory, they had to make 50-something more tackles than you fellas did, but they didn't seem to run out of gas. Had you hoped that they would?
Look, I think we wanted to put pressure on them. We wanted to take them through the phases, and probably I felt certainly at the end of that first half we probably let them off a little bit. When it felt like maybe one or two more phases, obviously it's hard to know, but one or two more phases in their 22, and they might have run out of numbers. But look, we obviously, when we keep the ball and go through phases, we always hope that a team will run out of gas eventually. But I think that we could have done more to keep the ball, to ask a few more questions of them. But they're a quality side, and we knew they'd front up. We knew they would keep coming at us, and they did. And we also knew they had a lot of power coming off the bench, and that proved the way with a quarter of the game to go or so.
Joe, could you assess Jonathan Sexton's return to international?
Yeah, in a measured way. I thought he was really, really positive for us. He varied the game. We varied it up a bit in the second half because we did feel that we couldn't use ourselves up too much, that we had to try to get them chasing things rather than kind of chasing us. So I thought he did it superbly. A couple of great kicks in behind them that allowed us to keep the pressure on, even though we didn't have the ball at the time. And he never shirks his defensive responsibilities anyway, Johnny. So you knew the value that he was going to give you. We'd probably aim to give him 50-55, but with the nature of the game, and he got the wind knocked out of him and had a 2.5 minute rest for a period, so we gave him a little bit longer.
Joe, what does it say about Sexton, the man who's had a month off, he's going to make another comeback from an injury, that he can have such a long time off and then come back and dominate the test match again?
Yeah, I think it's based on experience, it's certainly not the first time that Johnny's done it. He tends to come in, prepares himself incredibly well. He's got such a competitive edge that he wants to be at his best all the time. And, he felt good, he felt fresh. I think for some of the other players, because you accumulate a few knocks and a bit of fatigue week to week, Johnny came in feeling pretty good, and the game was a little bit stop-start, even though there were long periods of play. It was stop-start at the scrum, for example, the resets, the bits of the game that are probably frustrating for everyone, including us, that at least probably allowed him a little bit of a breather as well.
And do you think that Conor Murray's slightly more settled at 9, having Johnny outside?
Not unduly. I think Conor is pretty much his own man, and I think whether it's Paddy Jackson or Johnny, or as it was during November at times, Joey Carberry, I think he's very easy to play with for any of those players because he gives you time and space on the ball. I think he's a superb passer of the ball, and he takes his own responsibilities when you ask it of him. If you need a box kick or you want something slid down the touchline, like he did superbly in that last 10 minutes, where to carve off 45 metres down that touchline was superb, breathing space, and a set piece that we could structure our defence off.
And the fact that Wales lost, is that now easier or harder going down to Cardiff?
It's funny, they lost on the scoreboard, but they had 2 disallowed tries from what I saw. I haven't really had a decent look at the game, but for a lot of the game, it looked to me like they had control of it. And we can testify how dangerous Scotland are if you give them any sort of space with the finishers like Hogg and Visser and Tommy Seymour. So they'll be disappointed and determined, without doubt. And you don't go to the Millennium Stadium or it's a bit of a name change, but you don't go to Cardiff and get anything easy, because they take a heck of a lot of pride in making sure that they deliver there, and they've got some super players who make it very difficult for opposition teams when they get there.
You had suffered some significant injuries in games against France in the past, particularly suppose the World Cup. How significant is it to come through this match relatively unscathed?
Yeah, it's one of those intangibles sometimes as to why and why not. I think when Paul got hurt at the World Cup, there's a clear side entry. That's always going to expose you to a little bit more danger. Peter O'Mahony, when he injured himself, there's no one near him. It's just the way he planted his foot and caused the knee damage. So I think last year again with the injuries, like the one to Dave Carney, it's just that they bring a physical edge, and we try to match that, to be honest, because you can't afford not to. Otherwise, you're going to cede ground, and if you cede ground to such a big, strong team, they're going to keep taking it until they get on the scoreboard.
Rory, as a squad, you must be delighted you didn't concede a try as well today against that French side.
Yeah, look, it's something that probably since half-time in Scotland that we've really tried to push hard as our defence. Obviously in the first half against Scotland it wasn't anywhere near good enough, and we've worked very hard on it. And yeah, look, there was obviously the disallowed try, which we'll have to take a look at how we can even avoid that. I know there's a knock-on in it, but yeah, look, we're working very hard on all aspects of our game, and I think obviously defensively, when you're playing a team with the size and physical power that the French have, sometimes you just have to get all your stuff right, but you just have to make the hits. And I think, to be fair to the boys, that's one thing, especially when the rain came down. That's all you can do. You can just make sure you make your hits and man up in there and make sure that you put yourself in a good spot.
Joe, how do you see capable of penalties in the first half? We went for the corner, the penalties in the first half. Was that always the intention to go for the points early?
No, that's to be honest, that's Rory's decision. That's Johnny and Jamie's decision. Those guys are tending to run the team at that stage. They didn't all go to the corner. There was there was a quick tap at one stage, and then we also opted for a scrum after getting a scrum penalty. So, I think we managed to score off a scrum, and I suppose that gives you confidence to go again from that set phase. So, in the end, we were hopeful conditions might improve a bit, and I think the players have a bit of a feel for how the game's going, and if they want to keep the pressure on and force errors or force I guess another transgression or to get over the line, I back them 100%.
Joe, how do you assess the championship in general? I think I'm right in saying that if England won their next 2 games with bonus points, you would still only need to win your 2 games to be level on points with them at the end of the championship.
I probably haven't done the maths that far ahead, just because we've tried to really stay focused on the immediate challenge. I think the championship isn't too different, with the bonus points or not. I think probably because we picked up that bonus point against Scotland, picked up one against Italy, and England haven't picked up a bonus point yet. But they've had 2 super tough games. Having to play Wales away and France at home, and we've got Wales away to come. So we're not actually thinking about anything back here at the end of the championship yet, because it will be, I suppose, less. It'll appeal less to us, a lot less to us if it's not for the championship, and that means we have to go to Wales and get a result.
Do you accept that your destiny's in your own hands if you did win either of those games?
Yeah, and it is, and I think one of the key things is that England are going to keep going full speed. I think Scotland have proven that they're very difficult to get past, and I think losing Greg Laidlaw is a big blow for them, but the way they stuck at the task today, they're going to go fully armed to Twickenham, and I think the championship is super. I saw some basketball results this morning. There's not too many of those. It is massively intense. It has certainly coaches. I don't know about the crowd, but we were on the edge of our seat, and players working incredibly hard to make sure that they deliver as best they can. And you talk about our defence. One of our best defenders today was probably the drizzle. It did make handling very, very difficult, and it was maybe a 17th man on the back of a 16th man, which was the crowd, and it was great to get back home and have them behind us.
What did you think about the French performance today?
En anglais, I think the French were as formidable as we expected them to be. They physically are incredibly tough. It was hard to win collisions against them. We got knocked back quite a few times, and we felt that we couldn't afford to give too much ball to the French. Players like Naka Tafi and Jan Uge, Scott Spedding, when he got into space on a line break there, incredibly dangerous. Galfiku, Lamara, I think even Lopez slipped through at one stage on a line break after a kick, and again very dangerous. And that's not even starting to talk about Picamol and some of their dangerous runners in the front row. So it was scary to see Antonio out just about on the wing, getting a ball with a good head of steam up, and Conor Murray going in to make sure he put him on the deck. So there are lots of things about the French that I think we can see building, and I think what we saw today is probably an extension of what they did against the All Blacks and what they did against England. And I think they're going to continue to be really, really tough to beat through the last 2 weekends of the championship.
Joe, you said before the tournament started that you backed Johnny Sexton to dominate when you got a chance to play, even if you missed the first 2 rounds. That's sort of happened now. You must be really pleased that halfway through the tournament he's hopefully got the ability to kind of take it by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, I'm sure I didn't say dominate, but I would say operate really well. And I think the evidence was that he operated really well today because, you know, they were very tough conditions. And to have someone who everyone has the utmost confidence in, Johnny makes a call, guys immediately respond to it. And Paddy Jackson is growing in that all the time. I think, you know, when he speaks to the group, he has their undivided attention. And so for Johnny, with the experiences that he's had with the group, the way that they have confidence in him because he has navigated us around the pitch so effectively over the last however long, you know, for him to come back in, I wouldn't say it was easy. I think he worked really hard during the week to make sure that he was comfortable, that, you know, he knew what he could anticipate from the French, and he knew what we would be capable of delivering, and even that was a little bit curbed today. Just we kept looking at the weather, and it looked like it was going to maybe rain in the morning and clear up a bit in the afternoon. I don't know if you people saw that, but that's what we were hoping anyway. But it was nice and fine this morning, and that was probably a bad omen because the rain was coming at some stage, and we got enough of it to make conditions pretty tricky.
Last one. Rory, after tonight's performance, how do you approach the Welsh fixture now?
I think we'll approach it the way we do every game. You know, we'll take a bit of a break tonight, enjoy the victory, enjoy each other's company, and then we'll meet up tomorrow evening and we'll sit down and we'll look at the bits that we did well, we'll look at the bits that we didn't do well, and Joe will pull some stuff out that we thought was all right, that he thought we can do a lot better. And we'll look at Wales and we'll see how we'll have to improve. Look, we always know from the Championship you have to get better every week because the other teams are getting better. So we'll have to improve again, and it'll be very, very tough in Cardiff. But we have 2 weeks now to prepare for it, and we make sure that the preparation we know is key for us, and we'll turn the page as quickly as we can, and we'll get that review done, and then we'll push ahead.
Okay, folks, leave it there.